Beer and parking. You go to a game, a football game. You can't charge more than $5, $7 for a playoff game. Kenilworth and Cranford wouldn't know about that this year. But how is the county? They're given a permit or whatever. This is it. Runs this. Why is there no oversight on how much they can charge, or how could they charge? Why is it only $10? Who decides that? If I rent a softball field to have a game, can I charge people to watch it, or to park so that they could come and watch it? Not that anybody would, obviously, it's a ridiculous example, but where does the $10 come in, and what's justification? Can they charge $1,000 to park? What would? And then, not only that, but they closed the street parking all around. You couldn't park on the street, so you had to. You forced them in there. My point here is, are there no rules for government being able to charge?
It'll be a fictional number.
Why would there be rules about the limits that you can charge? Like, you got all these people here. I mean, could they do stuff like charge to use the bathroom or whatever? There's got to be some oversight.
But it's interesting, because liquor stores, I know, they're very strict there of the markup. You can't charge whatever you want for liquor. There's what is it? The alcohol gaming is very strict about how much you can mark up alcohol. So if you're selling beer at a public event, I wonder if they have a say in how much you can charge for that beer. I don't know.
Well, public events. You go to a stadium and it's what, $10 for beer or something.
I know
like
in the past that I've reported to the state, the county did not have permits to be serving alcohol in their VIP tents, and they've never, ever, all these years, every year I ask for an accounting of, where did that liquor come from in your VIP tent? They have cases of wine, beer, and it's all left over the next day. You see it. I've gotten pictures and footage of it, and they never had a permit for it. So in this case, they're selling it. So I don't know what the legalities are.
Yeah.
Are there any laws in New Jersey that government has to follow?
No, well,
it's like a whole new set of. It's lawless. They can do whatever they want.
Right. Well, you've seen that close up. But the thing is, the beer and parking thing. There also have to be limits on. Some stadiums stop selling after the 7th inning because people are going to drive and they want to sober up a little. They want them sobered up a little. But if they were selling beer all the way through, till the end, or letting it flow, and then people just walked over to get their where they parked for $10, I would think there'd be some rules on that too. But there didn't seem to be any. I mean, it was.
And we're talking about the beer garden, and then there's the VIP tent. And there were several VIP tents. I know people, you could even purchase a ticket to get into a certain VIP tent. You weren't really with the politicians, but you were in a separate VIP tent, and those people were given unlimited beer. So that's unlimited. That's not even, no one's even counting it. That's free.
Well, it seemed like a public safety issue. Like there have to be something on a Saturday night, all these beered up or
until 3 a.m. Until 3 a.m.
Were they selling? Were they swigging it until 3 a.m.? There are bars.
How did they get home? Who's responsible for driving them home?
Well, getting home isn't the issue. It's that they're on the roads drunk, and it's the other innocent people that they might collide with.
And that's another thing we didn't point out is all these employees are there working comp time and overtime. They're in the VIP tent too, so we're feeding them. We're feeding them and giving them alcohol. Well, they have access to all that. All these people get to go into the VIP tent, and that's their work day. They get they get free food.
Yeah, and I've got to point out that when you read this and you really look at it a few times, This Is It also collects 10% of all food and marketplace vendor fees. So the county has to, absolutely has to, have an accounting of all these people. And they have to know what they took in and what was there, because This Is It is coming back because they want their 10% of all food and marketplace vendor fees. So I think it's really shameful when you're asking questions about this, and we're saying, okay, who ran the beer? Well, we don't know. Well, I'm sure This Is It does know, because they're coming back for their 10%. And any vendor that was there, if they hired a vendor to do the parking, they're coming back for 10% of that, because that's got to be sheer profit, unless the county's saying that's going back to them. But then they still have to say that they put a vendor there of some type to manage that. So within this contract, and it says that it's in section 4, 2010 fee and budget. So, you know, us as citizens go and we asked, you know, can you give us this information? And they said, we don't have it. But this is it. When they go to do their taxes at the end of the year, are going to have an accounting line that they got 10% of, plus 10% of all food and marketplace vendor fees and sponsor fees as outlined above. So they're looking for their money. So somebody in the county has to have this on a ledger.
Unless the county doesn't touch it. Unless it's all done by This Is It, and then the county, I don't know how they get paid. I don't know.
Well, then where is, they're saying plus 10% of all food and marketplace vendor fees. So who's collecting the vendor's fees then?
And even if This Is It is doing it, I mean, the county's hiring This Is It. Isn't the county, they're telling us, they're telling me that they have no accounting of what This Is It does. They don't know about the parking. They don't know about the beer garden. $250,000 in cash, upwards. The county doesn't touch it, even though I'm assuming it's the county police that is counting this cash and making sure it stays. The county has no accounting of it.
I don't think that's correct, because they're saying 10% of all food and marketplace vendor fees and sponsorship fees. So somebody in the county is keeping track of all of this, and they have to have all the checks in place to know what This Is It, and This Is It would have to have a ledger and a copy of all these checks. The county would, because they get 10% of it. Who gets the fee for the food and marketplace vendor fees? The county, or is it the township of Clark, or somehow they're making, somebody has this on a public open place that these documents can be taken from, because This Is It is not taking the full amount in. They're saying they take 10% of it and then return the rest somewhere else. They've got to tell the county where they're putting the money back to.
They have to tell the county, but apparently the county doesn't have to tell citizens that ask. Mary Ellen placed over request, I did, John did. I know of someone else that placed over request, and we've all come to the same conclusion. There's really no conclusion here. You cannot follow the dollar. The county isn't making it easy. Supposedly they're not keeping track of this. It's very nefarious, and the bottom line is we as citizens have done all we can. This is all we can do. It will take law enforcement to do anything more. We're talking $250,000 in cash that we can't follow the dollar to. It went somewhere, it went somehow, and the county is telling us they don't know, they have no records about it, no way to report on what happened to that money. I mean, we don't have subpoena power. We can ask for records and they can give it to them, us or not. There's no consequences. So, you know, in the past I've asked law enforcement to look into it. Whether they did or not, I don't know. And we will do so again this year. And I don't know who I will direct it to this year, you know. I don't know, the FBI, the State Attorney General's office, the IRS, or maybe I'll just write a letter to Santa Claus and copy all those people in there, because maybe that would be the best way to go this year, because I don't know what else to do. Year after year it's the same thing. You cannot follow the dollar, and it seems like year after year they push the envelope a little bit more. Year after year. So it's like, you know, you get away with this, let's see if we can get away with that. So yeah, maybe I'll write to Santa. Dear Santa, I've been a good watchdog this year. And all I want for Christmas is law and order overseeing county government, because there's only so much a watchdog can do. And maybe Santa will put something in my stocking. A subpoena.